The giant space station, called Nexus Prime, was busy like always. Ships from all across the galaxy came and went. Strange alien creatures walked through the long metal halls. Some had tentacles instead of arms. Others had 6 legs or glowing eyes. The air smelled like a mix of different worlds. Commander Jinwoo Park stepped off his ship onto the station dock. He was tall and wore the blue uniform of Earth's Space Navy. Behind him walked Lieutenant Sora, Kim, and Sergeant Hanso Lee. They looked around at all the aliens with calm eyes, but something was different today. The usual noise of the station grew quiet. Aliens stopped talking. They stared at the humans with wide eyes full of fear. It was not the humans they feared. It was what walked beside them. 4 large creatures padded silently across the metal floor. Each one was bigger than most aliens. They had thick fur, pointed ears, and long tails. Their mouths showed sharp white teeth. Their eyes were smart and always watching. The creatures moved like hunters. Every step was careful. Every movement showed deadly power. These were predators that could kill without effort. Yet, they walked calmly next to the humans. When Jinwoo stopped, they stopped. When he moved forward, they followed. It made no sense. The watching aliens. Ambassador Keth of the Warthan Empire watched from across the dock. His purple skin grew pale. His tentacles shook with fear. In all his years traveling the galaxy, he had never seen anything like this. The Vorthans were known as fierce warriors. They conquered 12 worlds. Their soldiers feared nothing. But Keth's heart beat fast as he looked at the earth creatures. One of the beasts was pure white with ice blue eyes. It was the biggest of the 4. Shoulders were wide and strong. When it looked at Keth, the ambassador felt like prey being studied by a hunter. The other humans seemed relaxed. Lieutenant Sora Kim talked quietly with Sergeant Hanso Lee. They paid no attention to the fear around them. Before them, walking with these deadly creatures was normal. A young human woman joined the group. She had long black hair and wore a diplomat's green uniform. This was Hygiene Song from Earth's Peace Talks team. She looked at the white creature and smiled. "K, here boy," she said in a soft voice. The massive beast immediately turned to her. His tail began to wag. The creature that looked like it could tear apart a battle tank now looked happy like a child. Biko trotted over to Haichin, sit down beside her without being told. His tongue hung out and he seemed to be smiling. The aliens watching could not believe their eyes. A creature that diddly obeying a simple call from a human. A predator acting gentle and friendly. Commander Jinwoo patted another creature on the head. This one had golden fur and kind brown eyes. "Good boy, Hanyul," he said softly. The golden creature's tail wagged harder. It leaned against Jinwoo's leg like it was asking for more pets. Ambassador Ket's translator device was working hard. Aliens all around the dock were talking in scared whispers. The words kept coming. How do they control them? What kind of power do the humans have? Are those creatures weapons? A tall alien with gray skin and 4 arms approached slowly. This was Trade Master Vex from the Zephyrian worlds. He had dealt with humans before, but never saw them with these creatures. "Commander Park," Vex said. His voice shook a little. "Those are your ... companions." Jinwoo looked up with a friendly smile. "Yes, these are our dogs. This is Biko, Hanyul, Bomi, and Nuri." At the sound of their names, all 4 creatures looked at Jinwoo. Their tails wagged. They seemed happy just to be noticed. "Dogs," Vex repeated the word like it was dangerous. "And they ... follow your commands." "Well, they're good boys," Jinwoo said. Scratched Hanyul behind the ears. "They've been with humans for thousands of years." Thousands of years. The word spread through the crowd of aliens like fire. These creatures had been with humans for thousands of years. How was that possible? Sora Kim was checking her datapad. She looked up and saw all the aliens staring. "Is something wrong?" she asked before anyone could answer. A loud alarm started ringing. Red lights flashed all over the station. A voice came over the speakers. "Security alert. Unknown ship approaching. All visitors, please stay calm." The aliens began to panic. Some ran for their ships. Others hid behind cargo containers. The station security guards came running with their weapons ready. But the humans did not panic. Jinwoo held up his hand. "Stay," he said to the dogs. All 4 creatures immediately sat down. They did not move. They did not seem scared. They waited for their next command. The unknown ship turned out to be a false alarm. It's a cargo ship with a broken communication system. But the aliens had seen something that would stay with them forever, in the middle of chaos. The deadly earth creatures had remained perfectly calm. Oh, they followed their human simple word without question. Alu. They showed discipline that most alien soldiers could not match. After the alarm stopped, Ambassador Keth finally found the courage to approach Jinwoo. His tentacles still shook, but he had to ask the question that was burning in his mind. "Commander Park," he said slowly, "how do you command such powerful beasts? What terrible power do you possess over them?" Jinwoo looked down at Biko, who was now lying on the floor with his head on his paws. The big white dog looked peaceful and content. "Power," Jinwoo said. He seemed confused by the question. "I don't have power over them. Biko is just my dog. He's a good boy." Jinwoo knelt down and rubbed Biko's belly. The massive creature rolled over and made happy sounds. Its tail wagged so hard it hit the floor. "He's my friend," Jinwoo said simply. They all are. The word friend was translated into dozens of alien languages, but none of them could truly understand what it meant. How could a predator be friends with his master? How could a weapon choose to be gentle? As the human group walked away toward their meeting, the dogs followed happily. Their tails wagged. They looked around with curious eyes. They seemed to enjoy exploring the station. The aliens watched them go in stunned silence. They had expected to see humans controlling monsters. Instead, they saw something that made no sense at all. They saw friendship. Word of what happened spread across the galaxy within hours. The story grew with each telling. Humans had creatures that could kill anything, but chose to be gentle. Predators that followed commands out of love, not fear, and nobody dared to ask the humans to explain it, because, deep down, the aliens feared the answer would show them something about humans that they were not ready to understand, something that would change how they saw the galaxy forever. The news traveled faster than light across the galaxy. Every alien species heard the same impossible story. Humans walked with deadly beasts that obeyed their every word. The creatures were bigger than most alien warriors. They had teeth like knives and jaws that could crush bones, yet they followed humans like loyal servants on the crystal world of Zephyria. High Counselor Vex sat in his tall tower. He watched the security footage from Nexus Prime over and over. The moving pictures showed something that made his blue blood run cold. A human in a black uniform walked through the station halls. 3 different creatures followed him. One was huge with golden fur. Another was smaller with black and brown markings. The third was pure white with blue eyes. The human was Security Chief Dong Hyen Choi. He moved like he owned the station. The 3 beasts stayed right behind him. When he stopped, they stopped. When he turned left, they turned left. It was perfect teamwork. How is this possible? Vex whispered to himself. His assistant, a young Zephyrian named Kith, brought him more reports. "Sir, we are getting messages from all over the galaxy. Everyone is talking about the human beasts." Took the reports with shaking hands. The stories were getting worse. A human trader on the border worlds had been seen with a pack of 5 creatures. They hunted together like a military unit. They moved without sound and struck without warning. Another report came from the mining world of Kepler-7, a human survey team had arrived with their creatures. The beasts could smell danger from kilometers away. They found hidden enemies that the best alien scouts had missed. "What kind of training do these creatures have?" Vex asked. "That is what scares everyone, sir," Kith replied. "They do not act like trained animals. They act like they want to help the humans." On the water world of Aquatica, Captain Minho Yang was becoming famous without knowing it. His cargo ship, Aurora's Dream, had stopped at the port city of New Coral. Security cameras caught everything that happened next. Min-Ho stepped off his ship with a sleek black creature beside him. The creature was lean and fast-looking. Its name was Nuri. When Minho walked toward the port office, Nuri followed exactly 3 steps behind. The port was full of Aquarian workers. They had gills and webbed hands. They were used to strange sights from across the galaxy. But they stopped working when they saw the human and his creature. "Nuri, sit," Minho said, without looking back. The black creature immediately sat down. It did not move. It just waited and watched everything around it. Minho went into the port office to fill out his papers. Nuri stayed outside. A group of young Aquarian workers gathered around to stare at the creature. Nuri looked at each of them with intelligent eyes. The creature seemed to be studying them, learning about them. The workers felt like they were being examined by something very smart and very dangerous. One brave worker reached out to touch Nuri. The creature turned its head and made a low sound. Not angry, more like a warning. Worker quickly pulled his hand back. "Nuri, easy," Minho called from inside the office. The creature relaxed immediately. It even seemed to smile. The workers could not believe what they saw. A simple word from the human changed everything. When Minho came back outside, he saw the crowd around his creature. "Sorry about that," he said. "Uri is very protective, but he is a good boy." Minho patted Nuri on the head. The creature's tail wagged with joy. It made happy sounds and leaned against Minho's leg. The watching Aquarians were amazed. This deadly beast acted like a happy child around its human. The footage spread across the galaxy in hours. Every alien news network showed the same scene. A human giving simple commands to a creature that could kill him easily. The creature obeying with what looked like happiness. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from 50 different worlds gathered in the Great Hall on Centauri Prime. The room was full of worried voices, speaking in many languages. Representative Thelos of the Aquarian Federation stood up to speak. His blue skin was pale with fear. "Fellow beings, we face something we do not understand. These human creatures are not normal animals." The Great Hall fell silent. Everyone listened. "Our scientists have studied the footage," Thelos continued. "These beasts have senses beyond our understanding. They can smell fear from great distances. They can hear sounds we cannot detect. They can see in complete darkness. Murmurs of worry filled the hall. "But that is not the worst part," Thelos said. "The worst part is their loyalty to humans. It appears to be complete, total. They would die for their humans without question." In the back of the hall, Ambassador Keth from the Vorthanes raised a tentacle. "Have we learned how humans control these creatures?" Kilos shook his head. "That is the mystery. We see no devices, no implants, no technology. The humans simply speak, and the creatures obey." A reptilian delegate from the Saurian Empire hissed. His words, "Perhaps the humans have mental powers. Perhaps they can control minds. Or perhaps," said a small voice from the corner, "the creatures choose to obey." The hall erupted in angry voices. Atia was impossible. Predators did not choose to serve their prey. The strong did not willingly follow the weak, but the small. Voice belonged to Dr. Jen, the galaxy's top expert on animal behavior. When the noise died down, he continued, "I have studied the footage for many hours," Dr. Jen said. "The creatures show no signs of fear, no signs of force. They appear to be ... happy." The word happy was translated into dozens of languages, but it made no sense to most aliens. How could a predator be happy to serve? On the research station Deep Space Nine, Dr. Young-Soo Kim was working late in his lab. He was studying plant samples from a new world. His companion, a small brown creature named Bomi, slept under his desk. Dr. Kim did not know that hidden cameras were watching him. The station's security chief was an alien named Orthok. He had been ordered to study the humans and their creatures. Orthok watched as Dr. Kim worked. Every few minutes, the human would reach down and pet Bomi. The creature would wake up, wag its tail, then go back to sleep. It seemed so normal to the human, but to Orthok, it was terrifying that the human was petting a creature that could bite off his hand. The creature was allowing it because it wanted to. After several hours, Dr. Kim stood up and stretched. "Come on, Bomi, time for a walk." The small, brown creature jumped up with excitement. It ran in circles around Dr. Kim's legs. It made happy sounds and wagged its tail. Dr. Kim laughed. Okay. I know you love walks." They left the lab together. Bomi ran ahead, then came back. She found a ball somewhere and brought it to Dr. Kim. He threw it down the hall. Key, and she ran to catch it. Orthok had never seen anything like it. The human and creature were playing together. They looked like they were having fun. Creature could have been hunting for prey. Instead, it was chasing a ball because it made both of them happy. The reports from all over the galaxy painted the same picture. Humans and their creatures working together, playing together, living together. Like families, the aliens began to make theories. Some said the creatures were bioweapons created by human scientists. Others said they were robots that looked like animals. A few suggested that humans had magic powers, but no one dared to ask the humans directly. The questions were too dangerous. What if the humans decided to use their creatures as weapons? What if they got angry and turned their beasts loose? The galaxy lived in fear of creatures that spent their days playing fetch and sleeping in the sun. The legend of the human beast grew with each telling. They became monsters in alien nightmares, super soldiers that could not be defeated, weapons that could think and hunt and kill. But the truth was simpler and more terrifying than any legend. The truth was love, and the galaxy was not ready for that truth. The tension in the outer rim grew worse each day. The hegemony of Seeks wanted to claim 3-star systems for themselves. But humans had already started building colonies there. Both sides sent their warships to show their strength. Admiral Taman Quan stood on the bridge of his flagship, the starship inching. He was a calm man with gray hair and steady eyes. He had fought in many battles across the galaxy, but this time felt different. "Sir, the Seeks fleet is approaching," reported Commander Nara Shin. She was young but skilled in space warfare. "They have 12 heavy cruisers and 30 fighter ships." Taman nodded. The humans only had 5 ships, but they had something the Seeks did not expect. "Signal the fleet. Prepare for boarding actions." The Seeks fleet was impressive. Their ships were black and covered in spikes. Each one carried hundreds of warriors. The Seeks were known as fierce fighters. They had conquered many worlds through fear and violence. Commander Zalthik led the Seeks fleet. He was 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and skin like metal. His voice was deep and scary when he spoke over the communication channel. "Humans, you will leave this system now. These worlds belong to the hegemony of Seeks. We give you 1 hour to retreat. Admiral Taman smiled. I am afraid we cannot do that. These worlds are protected by Earth. We will not abandon our people. Salthic's eyes glowed with anger. Then we will remove you by force. All ships, prepare for battle. The Sikhs had studied human fighting methods. They knew humans were brave, but not very strong. They thought this would be an easy victory. The Sikhs warriors prepared to board the human ships and take them over. But the Sikhs had not studied everything about humans. They had not learned about the creatures that fought beside them. The first wave of Sikhs fighters teleported onto the human ships. They appeared in the corridors with their weapons ready, expected to find scared humans hiding behind their weak defenses. Instead, they heard something that made their blood freeze. Barking, the sound echoed through the metal halls. It was not one voice, but many. The noise was deep and loud and full of warning. The Sikhs warriors had never heard anything like it. Corporal Jason Park, Q, moved through the corridors of the engine with his partner beside him. His partner was a large creature with black and tan fur. The creature's name was Kiansa, which meant angel in the human language. But Kiansa did not look like an angel to the Sikhs warriors. The creature looked like death itself. Kiansa was a German shepherd, though the aliens did not know this name. All they saw was a predator with intelligent eyes and powerful muscles. The creature moved without sound, except for the clicking of its claws on the metal floor. Kiansa, search, Jason said quietly. The creature immediately put its nose to the ground. It could smell the Sikhs warriors from hundreds of meters away. Their scent was strange and metallic. Kiansa led Jason toward the enemy. The first group of Sikhs warriors came around a corner. They saw the human with his weapon ready. They started to charge forward with their battle cries. Then they saw Kiansa. The creature was crouched low, ready to spring. Its lips were pulled back to show white teeth. Its eyes were focused on the warriors, like a hunter watching prey. This was not a tame animal. This was a killer. But the most terrifying part was how the creature waited. It did not attack. It watched Jay's song for orders. Kiansa, hold, Jay's song said. The creature stayed perfectly still, was ready to explode into action, but it waited for its human partner to decide. The Sikhs warriors stopped running. They had fought many enemies across the galaxy. They knew predators when they saw them. This creature was more dangerous than anything they had faced. What is that thing? One warrior whispered. Before anyone could answer, more barking came from behind them. The Sikhs turned to see another human approaching. This was Lieutenant Yun Mi Kong with her partner, a creature called Harang. Now, the Sikhs were trapped between two humans and their beasts. But what happened next was worse than any nightmare. Jae-sung raised his hand and made a simple gesture. Kiansa immediately moved to the left side of the corridor. Yunmi pointed to the right, and Harang moved to that position. The creatures had not spoken to each other. They had not made any sounds, but they worked together like they had practiced this 1,000 times. Kiansa, quiet, Jae-sung whispered. The creature stopped making any noise. It became like a shadow, moving silently through the dim light of the corridor. Harang, flank, Yunmi said softly. Her partner disappeared into a side passage. The Sikhs could hear its claws on metal, but they could not see where it went. The Sikhs warriors were some of the best fighters in the galaxy, but they were used to fighting enemies they could understand. These creatures and their human partners were something completely different. The battle was over in minutes. The humans and their creatures worked together like parts of one mind. The creatures could smell where enemies were hiding. They could hear movements that humans could not detect. They could move through small spaces and attack from unexpected directions. But the most frightening thing was how gentle the creatures became afterward. When the fight was over, Sergeant Bora Lim found her partner, a creature named Biao, had been hurt. There was a small cut on Bial's leg from a piece of broken metal. The Sikh's warriors, who were still conscious, watched in amazement. Biora knelt down and looked at the wound with gentle hands. She cleaned it carefully and put a bandage on it. Poor girl, Biora said softly. That must hurt. Biora wagged her tail and licked Biora's face. The creature that had been a terrifying fighter moments ago now acted like a loving child. The same scene played out all over the human ships. The creatures that had fought like demons now received pets and kind words from their human partners. They seemed happier about the affection than they had been about the victory. Commander Southwick watched the security footage from the captured Sikh's warriors. His forehands shook as he saw the truth about human warfare. The humans did not just have weapons, they had partners. The creatures fought beside them by choice, not because they were forced to. When the battle was over, the bond between human and creature was stronger than ever. Retreats, Southwick ordered his fleet. All ships, retreat now. His officers were confused. Sir, we still have more ships than them. We can win this fight. Southwick pointed at the screen showing the humans and their creatures. Look at them, really. Look, those creatures could kill their humans any time they wanted. Instead, they protect them. They fight for them. They love them. The word love was hard to translate into the Sikh's language. It was not a concept they understood well. Any species that can inspire such loyalty is too dangerous to fight, Southwick continued. We are not just fighting humans, okay? We are fighting their friends, and friends will die for each other. The Sikh's fleet jumped away into hyperspace. They left behind reports that would spread across the galaxy. The humans had not just won a battle, okay? They had shown something that made no sense to most alien minds. They had shown that the strongest bonds were not made by force or fear. They were made by choice and love. Admiral Timon walked through his ship after the battle. He saw his crew members with their creature partners. Some were playing games. Others were resting together. A few were sharing food. It looked so normal to him. These creatures had been part of human life for thousands of years. They were family members, not weapons. But to the galaxy watching the footage, it looked like magic. How could predators choose to serve? How could dangerous beasts become gentle friends? The questions spread faster than ever. But still, no alien dared to ask humans directly. They were too afraid of the answer. The Galactic Intelligence Consortium had seen enough. After the battle with the Sikhs, they needed answers about the human creatures. They chose their best spy for the mission. Cajun Vorthok was a master of disguise from the Ethereal Collective. Could change his appearance to look like any species. He had infiltrated enemy worlds and stolen their greatest secrets. No mission had ever been too dangerous for him, but this mission was different. This time, he was not looking for weapons or technology. He was looking for something much stranger. He was looking for the truth about friendship. Vorthok disguised himself as a Terran trade representative. He created fake documents and a false identity. His cover story was simple. He wanted to buy medical supplies from human colonies. His target was Dr. Chan-Woo Park, a veterinarian working on the border colony of New Busan. The colony was small and peaceful. It seemed like the perfect place to study humans and their creatures without being noticed. Vorthok arrived on a cargo ship and rented a small apartment near the medical district. He set up hidden cameras and listening devices. He expected to discover some kind of mind control technology or genetic manipulation program. Instead, he found something that confused him completely. Dr. Chan-Woo Park worked in a small clinic on the edge of town. The building was simple and clean. There was a sign outside that said, "All creatures welcome," in 3 different languages. Vorthok watched from across the street as humans brought their creatures to the clinic. He expected to see military animals being prepared for battle. Instead, he saw something very different. a young woman named Era Yoon arrived with a small brown creature. The creature was limping and looked sad. Era carried it gently in her arms like it was made of glass. "Please help him," Era said to Dr. Park. "Sun-ho has been hurt." Dr. Park examined the creature with careful hands. Sun-ho whimpered softly, but did not try to bite or fight. The creature seemed to trust the doctor completely. "He has a broken leg," Dr. Park explained, "but we can fix it. Snee will be fine." In a few weeks, Orthok watched in amazement as Dr. Park put the creature to sleep and set its broken bone. The humans spent hours making sure Sun-ho would heal properly. When the creature woke up, Dr. Park gave it medicine for pain and treats. To make it feel better, Era cried with happiness. "Thank you so much. Sun-ho is all I have left of my family." This made no sense to Vorthok. Why would a human spend so much time and effort helping a creature that could not fight? Sun-ho was small and weak. It had no value as a weapon. But the confusion was just beginning. The next day, an elderly man named Kung Ho Song brought his creature to the clinic. Okay, this one was old and moved slowly. Its fur was gray and its eyes were cloudy. "Doctor, I think it is time," Kyung Ho said sadly. "Nabi is suffering. She cannot walk anymore. She does not eat." Dr. Park examined the old creature with gentle hands. Nabi wagged her tail weakly when she saw him. Even in pain, she seemed happy to see a friend. "I am sorry," Dr. Park said quietly. "Nabi is very sick. We cannot make her better." Kung Ho nodded, with tears in his eyes. "I know, but I cannot let her suffer. Can you help her go to sleep forever?" Orthok expected the human to throw the useless creature away. Instead, he watched something that shocked him to his core. Dr. Park prepared a special medicine that would let Nabi die without pain. Kyung Ho held his creature close and whispered soft words to her. He told her she was a good girl and that he loved her very much. When Nabi died, King Ho cried like he had lost a family member. Dr. Park cried too. They wrapped the creature's body in a soft blanket and treated it with great respect. "She was with me for 15 years, Kyung Jo said. "She was my best friend." Vorthok could not understand any of this. The creature was dead and useless. Did the humans act like they had lost something precious? But the strangest thing was yet to come. That evening, Vorthok followed Dr. Park to his home. The doctor lived in a small house with a garden. As soon as he opened the door, 3 creatures ran to greet him. The creatures jumped up and down with excitement. They made happy sounds and wagged their tails. Dr. Park laughed and petted each one. "Hello Maru, hello Bada, hello Guriam," he said. "Did you miss me today?" Creatures acted like Dr. Park had been gone for years instead of hours. They followed him around the house and tried to get his attention. When he sat down to eat dinner, all 3 creatures laid down beside his chair. Vorthok watched through his hidden cameras as Dr. Park shared his food with the creatures. He talked to them like they could understand every word. He told them about his day at the clinic and asked them about their day at home. This was not how a master treated his weapons. This was how a human treated his family. The next morning brought even more confusion. Dr. Park woke up early to take his creatures for a walk. Kay went to a park where other humans were walking with their creatures. Vorthok followed at a distance and watched the strange ritual unfold. The creatures ran and played together. They chased balls and sticks that the humans threw for them. He rolled in the grass and wrestled with each other. The humans stood around, talking and laughing. It looked like a party, not a military training exercise. Dr. Park met with other humans who had creatures. There was teacher Soo Jin Yoon with her creature, Guriam. Construction worker Seon Hon had brought his creature. The store owner Ji-ha Kim was there with her 2 creatures, Nabi and Bomi. The humans talked about their creatures like proud parents. They shared stories about funny things their creatures had done. They asked for advice about training and health problems. Grimm learned a new trick yesterday, Su Jin said with pride. He can open doors now. Bada helped me find my lost tools. Sang Hun added. He is so smart. K. Worthok recorded everything but understood nothing. Keys, humans, acted like their creatures were the most important things in their lives. They spent money on special food and toys. They bought comfortable beds and warm clothes for them. The final piece of the puzzle came when Vorthok watched the Kim family celebrate something called a birthday party. The family had gathered in their backyard with their creature, Maru. They put a special hat on Maru's head and sang songs. They gave him presents wrapped in colorful paper. The creature seemed to understand that this was a special day for him. 5-year-old Subin Kim hugged Maru tightly. I love you, Maru. You are the best dog in the whole galaxy. Her older brother Teho fed Maru pieces of a special cake made just for creatures. Maru has been with our family since before I was born, he said. He is like my big brother. The parents, Kyung-soo and Ari Kim, watched with happy smiles. They took pictures of their children playing with Maru. The creature's tail wagged so hard it shook his whole body. Warthog sent his reports back to the Galactic Intelligence Consortium every day, but each report made less sense than the last. The humans showed genuine emotional attachment to their creatures, he wrote. The relationship appears to be based on mutual affection rather than dominance. The creatures receive medical care equal to what humans give their own children. Significant resources are spent on creature comfort and happiness. I have observed no evidence of mind control, technology, or genetic manipulation. The creatures appear to follow humans willingly. His final report was the most disturbing of all. I believe the humans actually love these creatures. More importantly, the creatures love them back. This is not a military relationship. It's a family relationship. I do not understand how this is possible. Predators do not love their prey. Weapons do not love their masters. But these creatures are not weapons or prey. They are companions. Humans call them dogs. They treat them as equals, grieve when the dogs die, and celebrate when they are happy. I request immediate extraction. This mission has failed. I cannot find the secret of human control because there is no control. There is only love, and love makes no sense. The Galactic Intelligence Consortium classified Vortex reports at the highest security level. The information was too dangerous to share. Other species learned that friendship was possible between different kinds of beings. It would change everything. Wars were based on the idea that different species could never truly get along. Governments stayed in power by making people afraid of outsiders. Trade deals worked because everyone trusted only their own kind. But the humans and their dogs proved that love could cross the lines between species. They showed that trust and talent and friendship was stronger than fear and hate. The galaxy was not ready for that truth. So the reports were locked away in secret files. And the mystery of the human creatures remained unsolved, at least officially. Haven Station was supposed to be a place of peace. It floated in neutral space between 3 different star systems. Aliens from all over the galaxy came there to trade and make deals. No weapons were allowed. No fighting was permitted. But peace could not stop a plague. The sickness started on a cargo ship from the Outer Rim. By the time anyone noticed, it had already spread to 12 different species on the station. The alien doctors worked day and night, but they could not find all the sick people fast enough. The plague was invisible in its early stages. Someone could carry it for days without knowing they were sick. They would spread it to others before any symptoms appeared. The station's medical scanners could not detect it until it was too late. Ambassador Wu Jincho received the emergency call at his office on Earth. Haven Station needed help, and they needed it fast. The situation was getting worse every hour. How many are infected? Wu Jin asked over the communication link. "We do not know," replied Station Commander Zeltok. His voice was full of fear. "That is the problem. We cannot tell who is sick until they collapse. By then, they have already infected dozens of others." Wu Jin thought for a moment. "We might be able to help, but you will have to trust us." "What do you mean?" Zeltok asked. "They have detection specialists who can identify the plague before symptoms appear." "But they are not what you expect." Commander Zeltok was desperate. Station was dying. "Send whoever you have. We'll accept any help." 3 hours later, the human medical ship Healing Song docked at Haven Station. Ambassador Wu Jin stepped off the ship with his team. Kana came Dr. Insu Moon, the head of medical operations. Next to Dr. Moon walked 3 creatures that made every alien on the dock step backward in fear. The creatures were medium-sized with golden fur and intelligent dark eyes. Their names were Sarang, Hope, and Angel. To the humans, they were medical detection dogs. To the aliens, they were walking nightmares. Search and rescue specialist Yana Ha led the team. She was a small woman with kind eyes and a gentle voice, but the creatures that followed her commanded respect from beings twice her size. "These are our detection specialists," Wu Jin explained to Commander Zeltok. "They can smell the plague in someone's body before any other symptoms appear." Zeltok's eyes went wide. "If you want to bring those predators into our medical areas—" "They are not predators," Yana said calmly. "They are my partners. Sarang, Hope, and Angel have been trained to save lives." The alien commander had no choice. His medical teams were exhausted, and the plague was spreading faster than they could track it. "Very well, but if those creatures hurt anyone, they won't," Dr. Moon promised. "They are here to help." What happened next would be talked about across the galaxy for years to come. Yona led her team into the crowded medical areas of the station. Hundreds of aliens from dozens of different species waited in long lines. Many were scared. Some were already showing early signs of sickness. "Sarang work," Yana said quietly. The golden creature immediately went to work. She moved through the crowd with her nose in the air. She was smelling for the specific chemical markers that the plague created in an infected body. The aliens watched in amazement. Sarang walked calmly between them, never showing any aggression. When she detected the plague in someone, she would sit down next to them and look at Yana. "This one is infected," Yana would tell the medical team. "Please take him for treatment." At first, the alien doctors were suspicious. How could a creature know more than their advanced medical scanners? But every person that Sarang identified tested positive for the plague when they ran detailed blood tests. Hope and Angel worked other sections of the station. They moved through the shopping areas and restaurants. They checked the docking bays and living quarters. Wherever they went, they found hidden cases of the plague. But the most amazing thing was how gentle they were with everyone. Small Zephyrian child was scared when Hope approached her. The creature sensed the child's fear and lay down on the floor. She made herself look smaller and less frightening. When the child reached out to touch her golden fur, Hope wagged her tail softly. The child was infected with the plague, but because Hope found her early, the doctors were able to cure her completely. An elderly Vorthin was angry when Angel tried to examine him. "Get that beast away from me," he shouted. Angel did not get angry. She simply sat down and waited patiently. Dr. Moon explained that Angel was trying to help. When the old alien finally understood, he let Angel approach. Angel detected the plague in its earliest stage. The alien's life was saved because of her gentle persistence. Word spread quickly through the station. The human creatures were not monsters. They were healers. They could find sickness that no one else could detect. And they did it with kindness and patience. Young reporter Jex from the Galactic News Network was covering the plague story. He had heard all the legends about human creatures. He expected to see military beasts under strict control. Instead, he saw something that changed his understanding of the universe. Dr. Moon had been working for 18 hours straight. He was exhausted from coordinating the medical response. He sat down in a quiet corner to rest for a few minutes. His companion, gentle creature named Sabyok, immediately came to his side. Sabyok laid his head on Dr. Moon's lap and looked up with caring eyes. The creature seemed to know that his human needed comfort. Dr. Moon smiled and petted Sabyok's soft fur. "Thank you, boy. I needed that." Jax could not believe what he was seeing. This creature could have been anywhere on the station. It could have been hunting or exploring or sleeping. Instead, it chose to comfort its tired human friend. Jax approached. Carefully, "Dr. Moon, may I ask you a question?" Dr. Moon looked up. "Of course. Everyone wants to know the same thing," Jax said. "How do you control these predators? What is the secret to your power over them?" Dr. Moon was quiet for a moment. He looked down at Sabyok, who was still resting his head on the human's lap. The creature's eyes were full of love and trust. "We don't control them," Dr. Moon said simply. "They choose to be with us." The words hit Jax like a physical blow. Choose. Sabyok could leave any time he wanted, Dr. Moon explained. "All of our dogs could, but they stay because they want to. They work with us because they care about us, and we care about them." Double quotes. Dr. Moon scratched behind Sabyok's ears. The creature's tail wagged with happiness. "They are not our weapons or our tools," Dr. Moon continued. "They are our friends, our family. They help us because they love us, and we love them back." The revelation spread through Haven Station like wildfire. Aliens who had been terrified of the human creatures now watched them with wonder. These beasts that could kill anything instead chose to heal and helped out Commander Ji-Hoon-Roo. The station's security chief called a meeting of all the alien representatives. The main conference room was packed with beings from across the galaxy. "I want to explain something about our dogs," Ji-Hoon said. "For thousands of years, they have been our partners, not our slaves. Not our weapons, our partners." He gestured to his own companion, a loyal creature named Bael, who sat quietly beside his chair. "Bael works with me because he wants to. I never forced him to be my friend. I earned his friendship through trust and love. That is how it works with all human dogs." An alien diplomat raised a tentacle. "But how is this possible?" "Predators do not serve their prey willingly." Ji-Hoon smiled. "That is where you were wrong. Dogs are not our predators. We evolved together. We helped each other survive. We became family." The meeting continued for hours. The aliens asked question after question. They could not understand how two different species could truly care for each other, but the proof was all around them in the medical bay. Yana was playing with her 3 dogs during their break time. She threw a ball down the corridor, and all 3 creatures ran to catch it. They brought it back with their tails wagging, ready to play again in the children's area. Young Subin from the human diplomatic family was teaching alien children how to pet the dogs gently. The creatures were patient and kind with everyone, even the smallest aliens in the quiet gardens. Elderly human Tejo sat on a bench with his old dog, Baram, sleeping in the sunshine. Both of them looked peaceful and content. The aliens finally began to understand. The humans had not conquered these creatures. They had befriended them. The dogs did not obey out of fear. They obeyed out of love. It was a concept that most alien civilizations had never considered. The idea that different species could genuinely care for each other was revolutionary. The plague crisis ended within a week. The human dogs had helped identify every infected person on the station. Lives were saved because of their incredible abilities and gentle nature. As the human medical team prepared to leave, thousands of aliens gathered to watch them go. There was no more fear in their eyes. Instead, there was respect in wonder. The galaxy had learned something new about power. True strength did not come from forcing others to obey. It came from inspiring others to help willingly. The humans and their dogs had shown that love was stronger than fear. Friendship was more powerful than domination. Trust was better than control. And for the first time in galactic history, other species began to wonder if they too could learn to be friends instead of masters.